The following conversation takes place between myself and Opeyemi Olanipekun, the CTO and co-founder of Trove Finance, the first company in Nigeria to democratize trading on the Nigerian and US stock exchange. Opeyemi is a brilliant and intelligent software engineer. We've been friends for a very long time, and in this conversation we discuss life, technology, entrepreneurship, and what it takes to be an engineer and an entrepreneur in Nigeria. We also discuss the challenges they faced as a company and what it means to them. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I'll see you in the next one. So, okay.
Hi.
Don't be formal, please. Just be relaxed, chill. Hi guys.
You're actually doing this.
Yeah, we are.
All right, let's go.
You're the first person I'm bringing on this new segment that I started called Brainstorm. Do you know what it is, or do you want to expatiate?
Me?
Brainstorm.
Yeah, please expatiate.
So the whole idea of Brainstorm is to bring people that are doing really interesting stuff, young people, bring them to the limelight and let other younger people, see that there's a possibility in the market, there's a possibility. You don't have to be a Yahoo boy, you don't have to steal, you don't have to commit any form of fraud or anything illegal to be successful. So just hard work, grit, and just let people who have done these things and are successful at it share their stories, talk to people, that sort of stuff. So that's essentially what it is. And that's why I thought, okay, of all my friends, who are the ones that are really changing the world, I'm doing stuff that are extraordinary, who I think to some degree might have changed the way things are done in Nigeria. Yeah. Have you thought of it like that? Like, have you looked at it from that angle?
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes it's easy to get lost in the work. Like you're doing all these things and you actually don't know how much impact you are making. So sometimes you actually have to come out of it and see it from an outsider's point of view. And once in a while I go on some of our channels, communities, and hear what the users are saying, see what the users are doing, and try to also use some of these services or use some of these products, or actually take advantage of some of these things the way they are. And it can be very interesting sometimes because you see the way some people use your product, and sometimes not even the way you designed it to be, and you're like, okay, this like interesting feedback. This is another angle. I didn't see this way.
Which one is most interesting to you? Like what way? Oh, sorry, I need to do like a small intro.
Okay.
So for people who don't know, this is Opeyemi Olanipekun. He's the CTO of Trove. Trove is the first Nigerian company to democratize, I like to say it like that, stock for retail, right?
Yeah, investments.
Stock investments for retail, like in the US market and Nigerian market. So typically, what happened before is that you'd have to talk to a stockbroker, you'd have to talk to an investment agent who would help you buy stocks in either the Nigerian stock exchange. But you guys decided that you wanted to do a Robin Hood, so to speak, for Africa. Is that a good summary?
You can put it that way. Okay, a Robin Hood for Africa is fair. But we are not just looking at it from a retail perspective, we also to enable traditional brokers. You get supercharged their platforms, had more financial instruments to what they have. So we have access to global instruments, to foreign exchanges, and we want to help both individuals, retail users, and traditional brokers, the average or the normal brokerage firm that you'd walk to normally to invest in an exchange.
What got you started on this idea? Like, how did it come about?
Okay. I will give you the whole true backstory.
I would appreciate if you gave the true back. Oh yes, Ope and I have been friends for a very long time. We met at the University of Lagos.
Yeah, we
He
did.
was studying
Computer
engineering,
yeah.
and I was studying geography. Who is now a programmer. And
You were a programmer then.
I was even a programmer then, anyway, so it wasn't like a limitation, right? So we've done a couple of stuff together, software, and now we even work together in Trove. So
now that's full disclosure.
That's full disclosure. So we know each other. We are very close like that. So back to the question. How did you?
Okay. So I'm just going to give
I know the back story, some of it.
Some of it.
Yeah.
So I'll just give you my side and not even the complete one.
Okay.
So basically, myself and a couple of friends, you already know, we used to trade cryptocurrencies then.
I also traded cryptocurrency, but they chopped my eyes.
Yeah.
My money.
The Great Depression of 2018. Yeah.
You guys say that again.
Yeah. So like we all lost money. We were like, oh wow,
Pain, premium tears.
And then myself, I was actually looking for things to do within the crypto space, but not necessarily cryptocurrency, but how to take advantage of the blockchain technology and also be a part of the blockchain revolution. Yeah. So during that period, and also I was looking for how to make crypto type money.
Crypto type money. What do you mean by crypto type
So
money?
2017 was a very interesting year. Like it was very easy to say, okay, I want to be a part of this ICO, and once it gets listed, you're seeing 100% returns, 200% returns over a very short period.
Oh,
right.
Oh, the Lambo money. To the moon.
To the moon. To the moon. We all wanted to go to the moon. But another thing that is very, very, very important and sort of been my mantra, is to be ethical about some of all these things, right? When you've been in this technology space or you've been, you've been programming for a while, you acquire you acquire a lot of skills, right? A lot of technical skills, and it can be tempting, especially when you're in an environment that there's a lot of pressure to, make money, take care of a lot of things, and take care of yourself, and the standard of living isn't so good. So,
somewhere in Nigeria.
Somewhere in Nigeria. All right, but it's not limited to Nigeria. I don't think it is, but but when you're in Nigeria, you need money.
Innovate.
But you don't want to innovate in the
criminal side.
The criminal side. You want to stay ethical and all, and that's something that sort of made a mantra to myself, right? No, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to take money from person or defraud somebody. I don't need to drive the latest car. I don't need to, show off or be.
Nice.
I mean, it would be nice. But I can.
Not illegally gained, so to say.
Yeah, do that illegally. That's the point I'm driving at. So you don't have to steal to impress the next guy, right? Or to paint Lagos red, or anything.
Did you just say paint Lagos red?
Did they really say that? Oh my god! I think I'm old.
What? Paint Lagos red. Okay, fine.
People still say that, right?
I don't think so.
Really?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So that's something I tried to do, and I can say I've been successful at, right? So I try to be creative around my skill sets, right?
Okay.
I'm a programmer at my core. I write codes, and I also really enjoy doing that. Fortunately and unfortunately, depending on our relationship, you get. So sometimes these things can be very consuming, and then someone is like, "Oh, you don't have my time. You're always in front of your system."
Oh.
Don't get any ideas.
No, of course I will. I'm supposed to dig as deep as possible. So when you say some people might say, you don't have my time, I'm guessing that's in the social relationship, the girlfriend, the friends, because of how time consuming
the relatives, family.
Did that ever happen?
Oh yeah, it did.
How did you resolve that? You need to teach the young people work-life balance, so to say.
So that would be like a very different conversation, right?
No, but it's part of
Work-life.
this conversation.
Yes,
that
we'll get there.
Oh, yeah, sure,
Okay.
sure.
So yeah, you have to learn to maintain a work-life balance. That's something I did not. I was not fortunate to. That's a skill I wasn't fortunate to pick up early on.
Okay.
Right. So it was. I just focused on one thing and stick to it until it's done. Right. Most times than not, when I try to juggle some of these things, something else suffered. So that's something I sort of learned the hard way. Right. And I'm still improving. I can't say I'm there yet.
Okay.
Yeah. But going back to this thing,
The original question: how you got started?
yeah, so we after getting bonds in 2018, we're looking for more other stable financial sectors to invest in, right? At that point, I think it was already in the news, so it was becoming noticeable that the US market was hitting milestones or breaking milestones or,
Like the S&P 500,
creating
record highs.
new records every month. It was becoming really interesting. So I had this like round.
When was this?
This was 2018.
When in 20 late, early?
Me 2018. So I would say May-ish, May, July. The first line of code was written in June.
Okay.
Right. So May, we're like just having a conversation and like this place might really look interesting. And when I started looking at stocks and everything, I realized that the fundamentals were very similar. Right? How to pick a good stock, how to invest in a good company, how to invest in good cryptocurrency, how to differentiate the nice ones from the, funny looking ones.
Shitcoins. No, sure, you can curse.
Yeah,
fine.
so so I realized the fundamentals were similar. Like,
Maybe don't curse, actually. Well, the target audience is like the young folk, so no shit.
But you just said it again. All right. So we're looking at the fundamentals are very similar. I'm like, this is something that looks like it makes sense, right? The returns may not be like what we're getting in cryptocurrencies, but it's still not bad. It's better than what you get from your average bank putting in fixed deposit. Because it's not enough to just look at the interest rates that you get in your country, right? You have to factor in the inflation of your currency. So if I'm putting my money in a bank account, right, savings bank account, I get 1% interest rate. That doesn't even cover the bank charges I incur in a year, right? The interest rate can be as high as 12% within a year. Let's say pre-corona. It could be as high as 12% within a year, and then you're doing a fixed income of 8% a year, and you think you're actually making money, but you're actually losing. So instead of losing 12% of your money, you're losing 4% of your money, approximately.
Which then affects the exchange
Right.
rates, which
still affects the exchange rate, which basically means you're
your
still
money is
losing money.
worth less.
Your money is worth less. So you're losing. You may not be losing money when it comes to the numbers or the figures, but you're actually losing value. Or your
The
money is
buying
losing-
power of your of whatever you had in your bank
Yeah.
has dropped significantly.
So I was looking for things I could do that would increase my savings in quotes, meaning investments, like interest that I could get that would take me significantly above the average inflation rates in my country. That happens to be Nigeria. So you want to look at instruments.
Did you think of putting your money in like dollars, like trying to convert your your cash
access to this
fiat into like dollars?
Yeah.
Save?
I that's something I really considered. That's something I actually do right now. I have very little naira, just basically everything I need for my day-to-day activities. And most times than not, if I need to cover a major expense and all, I just convert it back.
Is it something that you'd encourage people to do, to like as much as possible?
So I can't give a professional advice there. I'm not not a financial coach. I'm not an investment advisor of any sort. But personally, this is something I do.
Okay.
Right.
something you do. So if people want, you can follow. If not,
Exactly.
that's up to you.
So, so like the stock market was looking good. I said, okay, this is something that this would be an interesting space to actually play. Now the question is, how do we get in? And that's the challenge.
How do you get in?
Yeah. So I want to invest in Facebook, Google. We had around people like myself, and so it wasn't just me. There was someone else, like there was the main founder, and currently the CEO of Trove. So we're like, okay, how do we actually get into this space? So we reached out to a couple of friends outside Nigeria, and they were like, man, there's no way, there's no this, there's no that, and the details of the rest of the story will probably come back later. But way to in summary, we were able to figure out a way. Realized that this was a problem for a lot of people. People were really interested in this space, but they didn't know how to get in. The requirements was that you have to have like a social security number, or
were you trying to get in as an individual?
I was trying to get in as an individual. So then it wasn't a question of a startup or a company or anything. It was like, how do I get in? And doing our inquiries, and while we're trying to find solutions to this problem, we realized that it was a major problem for a lot of people.
And that's
right. And there was no cost-effective way to go about it. And that's where the business thing came out. So there's a lot of opportunities in the stock market, or at least in the capital market space. Right, it's still one of the best wealth-generating sectors, at least in the last 60 years. Right?
Wealth-generating sectors.
Yeah.
I had this quote a couple of days ago that said that I strongly believe that the next generation of wealth makers are going to be young people who know how to create, how to invest, and know how to save. So you need to be able to create a business, solve a problem, like what you just did, which then created this business, which happens to be the first in the country. Or you're able to invest in the capital market, find opportunities early on as a private investor or as a public investor.
Yeah.
Watch the market, right? And being able to save is just essentially knowing when to get out, when to put your money where it should be, or when to just not invest at all. So I think what you are saying really resonates.
Yeah, I agree with what you just said. Whoever gave that quote, that's a nice
I came up with the quote. I know, I'm deep like that.
Okay, nice quote. I'll probably borrow it.
Fine. Pay royalties. As they create business, I want to create business too.
No, Allah. We are here together. So yeah, that's pretty much a summary of how we started. We had a functional prototype in a very short time, within 6 weeks, at least in the Nigerian space. And then we needed some form of validation. We started a wishlist system. We started a private beta.
What did you say? Wish list?
A wait list. So we pretty much create like very cheap ads, like cost-effective $5 type campaigns, and like, okay, this is what we are doing.
Would you be interested?
Would you be interested? Similar to a market survey, but this is way beyond like that. It's like we are doing it whether you're interested or not, right? But if you are really interested, you can join our waitlist and be the first to know, right? When it's live, and those are the people that we started our private beta with.
Okay.
Right, so it was a very, very small set of users, right? Before we, and we've iterated a couple of times. Right, we started with crypto, we shut down crypto, we dropped our crypto, and
okay. So what you're saying is that you guys, if I hear you correctly, maybe I can elucidate for our viewers. So you saw an opportunity in the capital market in the United States. You wanted to get into that market, but you realized that it was too difficult, right? And you then reached out to friends who were in the US and tried to find a way that you can get in whilst being in Nigeria.
Why? Yeah.
So from there, you found the solution, and then you realize that that was actually a big market where you can go in and start a business around. So the first step was seeing the opportunity. The second step was trying to get into the opportunity and then creating a business that solves the problem for. If my numbers are correct, you solved that problem for at least thousands of people here in Nigeria from being the first person. So, and then you've iterated. Like you didn't just come out with a full-fledged product. You started. You created a small prototype, then iterated, and now you have a full-fledged product.
Exactly. So, and I think when you think about some of the startups, I won't say I'm there yet, but we all learn from each other's mistakes. We all learn from our own experiences, right? And a lot of mistakes people make is they have this complete product in their head, and they think that it's going to be perfect. Every idea is awesome in the founder's head, right? But what a lot of people fail to understand is the market determines your product, right? So build the first prototype, an MVP, the minimum
viable product.
Viable product, right? Functional product.
Like a minimum viable product, but should be functional. So it's not just something that people would use and eat before you even release your full product.
And it can even be in a very, very basic form, like in a really, really basic form. It could be a case of, okay, I want to do deliveries for you. How would you feel if I build a startup where you can, from the push of a button, get someone pick up groceries and deliver to your house, right? And okay, so I just built some form of interface where you push the button and I get a mail or an SMS that says, oh, XYZ wants this, right? So it doesn't have to be like, oh, we have built this complicated, automated process and all of that. So from there, you know, okay, this guy liked this service. He was uncomfortable with this aspect. This section doesn't seem to work well. We can automate this part and make it better or seamless. And
from there you iterate.
You iterate and then keep building. And it also helped us getting investors, because a lot of times when we're meeting people to have conversations with, they're like, oh, they love the awesome idea. Oh, it's a very awesome idea, but we don't know if you guys can execute. Like, have you even done anything? Have you started? Oh, but we have a functional prototype. Oh, and that's when and that's when the conversation gets interesting.
Okay, hold on.
Right.
So I think this is very, very important, critical part. Having your functional prototype allowed you to talk to investors.
It made the conversation more interesting.
So beyond the idea.
Beyond the idea phase, because a lot of people have awesome ideas, and investors want to know that you can execute. Right?
Because so why do you need investors? I know why you need it, but I'm sure some of our...
So it depends on what you're working on, and it depends on what stage of your... If you are going the startup route, right? You need money to grow your business, right? But not just money. You need mentorship, right? You need value, resources. So I think for us, we're looking for investors that were ready to provide more than just money or more than just capital.
Okay.
Right? So. Investors that could, connect us to people or link us to people that would help move the organization itself. So we need a partnership with XYZ. So like, for example, we need a partnership with XYZ. Can this investor, would he be able to look within his circle and find a way to introduce us to
that particular
business organization or person that we need to talk to? Okay. Right. We're fortunate to be a part of a program that helped with that. We were able to get investors that were able to also provide or give us that value.
What program was that?
So that was ARM Startup Labs.
ARM Startup Labs.
Yeah, first quotes. This was 2019.
So what is it, like an accelerator program?
Yeah, for fintechs.
For fintechs. Okay. Yeah. What do they do?
Basically, what's an accelerator? I won't say typical, because it was actually really nice. I've been part of the different accelerator programs in the past, and this was very, very different, right? Everything was hands-on, right?
Literally hands-on.
Literally hands-on. So you don't spend 1 week sitting down around table and talking about how to create a business plan. We have like the sorry, what's it called? Scrum on Monday, right? And you have the entire week to execute whatever tasks you have assigned. And then we had mentors assigned to us, and we get to meet our mentors physically on Fridays. And then you have Monday to Friday to actually work on your business. Okay, go out there and execute. You need to meet with this. You need to do this. You need to do that. By Monday, the next Monday, we are looking at progress. Last week you said you were going to do this, do this, do this, hit these milestones, hit these milestones, hit these milestones. Where are we? Right?
So sort of like you had some sort of project manager. I feel like that's what you're describing.
So
someone that was
you could compare it to the agile type.
What's agile?
So that's it's more of what's the word? Methodology or convention, right? Or rolling out products. It's not just even getting tasks done. It's not just limited to startups. It's not limited to projects, right? You could take an agile approach to plan your wedding.
Okay.
Right? I don't want to go deep into agile, but it kind of like makes it efficient in such a way that you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait till the final product is ready before you actually have something working.
Okay.
Right? So you have like a starting phase. You probably have an end goal. Probably have an end goal, but in every phase you are making meaningful changes to your product and
but then
improving on it.
How do you articulate what the stages are? Because I feel like it might be a problem for someone who is just fresh, starting new.
Yeah. So
how do I articulate what do I need?
It feels like there might be a lot to learn, right? But the most basic way I would explain agile is, okay, I want to build.
No, I'm not. I'm saying, what do you need in the context of actually starting a business?
Starting a business.
Agile, yeah.
Starting a business. I think for me personally, I don't really go into. I don't really get too involved in any project or startup that I can't resonate with, or it's not coming from a personal pain point, right? But there are also people that say, okay, do you know what? I don't want to focus on luxury goods, right? I want to build a
luxury goods,
yeah, or maybe a FMCG company in an organization, right? They may not necessarily. It may not be coming from a natural personal pain point. They may just look at the sector and think and see that, okay, yes, you know what, there's an opportunity there. I want to go into that. But desire is not enough. Desire alone is not enough, right? You have to look at the industry itself, right? Understand it, right, from a very, very critical point of view, not necessarily an optimistic angle, because everything looks good and attractive from outside. Right? What are the challenges in the space? Who is playing in that space? Why are they not doing things the way you think it should be done? Right? Sometimes it's not just a problem of they don't know what to do or they don't know how to go about it. It may be some restrictions around things. For example, you want to go into logistics and you realize that addresses and road network becomes a real challenge, like a real massive challenge, right? So you want to go understand that space, what's going on there.
So essentially, know the business you're trying to start.
Yeah, know the business you're trying to start.
Or know the industry.
Yeah, know the industry. But sometimes you may actually have to go in or get your hands dirty before you can actually understand some of the way these things are. Because some of the things challenges that exist there may not be general knowledge. Right? And if you are not within that circle, you're not operating in that space, you don't get to see these things or you don't get to experience them. You also need to understand, as I said earlier, your market determines your product, so you must be ready to iterate. And you must be willing to iterate, and you need to be able to do it fast.
By iterate, what do you mean?
okay, this is not working, or this is not working the way I think it would have worked. We need to change this. Okay, let's try this other method. Let's see.
Is that different from pivoting?
Not necessarily. They are very similar, almost the same, and can be used interchangeably sometimes. But basically, a pivot is, or I will say pivot is, okay, this isn't working. Let's change or let's move this. So, for example, there was a time when we started a company. It was supposed, I and a couple of friends started a company. It was supposed to be a marketplace, right? Where kind of like what you have, what Jumia is today, right? Okay. You have people come, sell their products on your platform and all. It was still very, very new in Nigeria. I don't even think Conga had started then. But okay, so we tried it and realized logistics was a real problem, right? And we got so focused on logistics that we actually ended up converting the entire company to a logistics company.
I remember. That's Credit Me.
Credit Me drop bodies.
Yes, we pivoted.
We had to convert that. And then you also have a popular company, Slack. You have Slack, for example, which was originally a gaming company. And Slack was just one of the tools they used to manage communication internally, and then it looked like the game business was not working for them. And then they changed, and this is so those are things that they are not bad. There are a lot of companies that started out with something and doing something completely different today. So it's not bad, and it's not something that you should be afraid of doing.
So you should not be afraid to change your business. Yeah, but your business model.
Yeah, but you should be very, very careful about that too, right?
Let's continue.
So basic. What was I saying?
Oh, you were giving an example of how to start a business and iterate.
Yes. Yeah. So I want to get to this. This is what I want to be. Or this is the goal I have. This is the grand scheme of things. So and everything I do is towards that goal, right? I can iterate in different ways, right? I can follow different paths, but there's a vision.
Also have a very clear vision of where you're going.
You get.
But the path might require you meander.
Yeah, and you can't go. Now this is to every entrepreneur out there that is interested in starting anybody interested in starting their own, building their own startup or starting their own business, right? Venturing into the entrepreneurial space and all. You need to have
clear vision,
right? And sometimes it's not always about the money. There are a lot of companies that went and started without clear roadmap to monetization, right? But it's good to have that goal, something to work towards. Not just I'll do this and make 1,000 naira every week. I'll do this, I'll make 1,000 naira every week. It's nice and all, it's fine, but I mean, that's what the kiosk or the Indomie person downstairs is probably doing too, do business. But if you want to scale or you want to grow substantially, significantly, you need to go beyond that.
Okay, so is it just enough to want to solve a problem? Because for me now, if I'm starting a business, one of the reasons why I'm starting it is to solve my financial problems. There's a saying that if you want to build generational wealth, one of the ways you can do that is owning part of a business. It's not even a saying, it's globally, everybody knows this. So you either own part of a business or you sell your time at very high price. The time that whether you are in a corporate setting or you are working as a consultant of some sort or an artisan, you should sell your time at a price that is good and valuable to you, that will make you want to do it more, or you own part of a business. So is it just enough to want to solve a problem? Because there are many people that solve problems but are not wealthy. Yeah. Or I want to solve a problem, but I also want to make enough money such that I'm set for life my family is set for life, my family's family is set for life.
Okay, so there are many ways you can actually, there are many things you can do, or there are different ways you can actually make money. You don't even have to start a business to create substantial wealth, or let me use wealth, or to be rich, right? Because you can become very technical about some of these terms, right? But you can decide to sell your time, right? At a premium value, but then you have to be offering premium
work,
premium stuffs. But basically, what that means is it's the same thing that applies to everything and to apply to every aspect of your life. Try to be the best in whatever you do. Whether you may not get there, right? But at least you should be close enough, or the effort should be very, very visible. Okay, I want to be the best programmer, for example. And I'm not talking about Lagos or Nigeria, I'm talking about like the world. I may never be the best programmer, I may never achieve that status, but you see something I do, you know that, okay, this is coming from, this is premium.
What he's doing. Yeah.
Right? This is premium, I'm like, okay, yes, I'm on this level. So if I'm going to sell my time, I basically put in value on my time, my resource, my knowledge, my skill, and I can actually I can get a lot of money from that, right? So you want to make money. You can make money from that. There are a lot of people that freelance, from down to the artisans up to even the consultants, right? And they make a lot of money from that. It's fine, right? You don't have to build a business.
But don't you think that when it
gets to a point,
it does not
go beyond.
It stops.
That.
Yeah, exactly. But we're starting a company that is sustainable and can operate by itself would mean that you have a money printing machine, so to speak. That's if it's able to be profitable and valuable.
It's not always the case, right?
Okay.
There are people that get called from other countries. There are people that consult for other countries for different things, right? So.
But don't you think that these people that sell their product at premium price, right? There has to be some structure around it. For anybody that wants to pay premium for your service, knows that your packaging is premium. So packaging, maybe in the sense of the business.
So in sense of business, not necessarily
on an individual level.
On an individual level, or pretty much from an individual level. So I'm a marketer, right? How do I present myself to a client, right? How do I sell my market?
I think this is something that people would like to know.
Right? So that's not my forte, right? But it's very important. Distribution is part of a product.
How do you distribute?
Right? How do you distribute? How do I get to the end user? How do I get this client? How do I, get this user? Right? How do I get employed in this organization? Right? It's part of it. So in this case, you are the product. You want to get employed. Right? How do I get this company pay me to work for them? Right? So naturally, if you are going to get to the end user, you want someone to use your product, or you want to go into a market, you need to understand that market. A lot of young people today make that mistake. They go to an organization for a job interview, and they don't even know anything about the company. Right? I think I've had to do interviews for people, and like, okay, do you know what? Tell me about Trove. Right? And yet it's like, I just checked out the website this morning.
That's not a good look, actually.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
If you are not, the way I would see it is that if you are not serious enough to even Google the website or details of the company that you're trying to work for, then I'm not sure I can give you any form of responsibility and expect that you're going to perform. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, so that situation actually shows a lot of red flags, right? How do I know you're going to stay in this company for XYZ period? How do I know if someone comes with a better offer and You're going out. You're going to literally leave us hanging in the rain, right? How do I know that you'll be willing to go out of your way to execute or get things done, right? So it shows out a lot of like red flags. Like, wow, okay. The next question I would ask is why trove, right? So you applied.
Now the answer I'll say because of money. I don't want to say, I can't eat Gary.
Okay, that's fine.
Would that be a reasonable response?
No.
Why not? Because, okay, let me rationalize it to you, right?
Right.
So the primary reason why I've sharpened my skill, honed my skill, and become the best person I can be in a particular field,
okay,
good enough to want to work for you, right?
Yeah.
Is because I want to be able to feed myself.
True.
So don't you think it would be disingenuous if I feel like I start to spout, because I think you guys are doing really interesting stuff, because I think that you can change the world. So, I mean, those are good values and good things to want to see. But the underlying factor is...
You want to get paid.
I want to get paid. So it's not that you don't value honesty.
It's not that you don't value honesty, right? As an employer, right now I'm speaking as
so you want
employer.
To be sugar-coated? You want them to...
No.
Okay.
So, personally, right, I like to employ people I can work with, right? I want to know I can have a random conversation with you about the product, right? And if your motivation is only money, you would come in, do XYZ task that has been allocated to you. You may not even contribute outside of that. So tomorrow I'm like, we are brainstorming using your we are brainstorming on the next product, on the next arc, right? Or try to come up with the arc a solution pretty much for a challenge, and we are just there waiting for the task to drop on your table, and then you go to your whatever project management tool you use, and you just say, oh, I'm assigned to this, I'm assigned to this, I'm assigned to this.
What is wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that, but as an individual, that's actually bad. That's not a good quality to have, because some companies will hire you because you can really be good at what you do, and like, okay, do you know what? It's getting stuff done. That's fine. But you start to realize something that a lot of people don't know. Some people actually learn the hard way. Is that start to realize that people that come after you get promoted above you. Right? Their leaders, their team leads start to delegate more to those people outside of what they actually do. So you want to climb up the corporate ladder, look for things that like be essential to the company, to the point where they know that if they get someone as skilled as you, they'll think twice before replacing you. Right? So now I can have someone as skilled as you, right? But the person
is more insightful.
Or may not even, but you tend to go out of your way to actually, get things done or make sure things move smoothly. It's not necessary. It may not even be part of your job description, right? Or it should be related to your job description, but not necessarily a task that are assigned to you directly. Oh, do X, Y, Z. Okay. Oh, I did X, Y, Z, but I added this salt and I did this pepper here, and I thought it would look like this here, but I've not implemented it. I just want to know what you think before I go ahead. It's different from, okay, A is done, B is done, C is done. You get, so someone we replaced, but we missed when XYZ was here. You will come up with this. You get things like that.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you correctly, what you are saying is, if your primary objective is money, right, you tend not to go out of your way, because you know that this is the job I'm being paid for, and this is all I want to do, right? And that might lead you not to go out of your way, etc. Which makes you replaceable, because you can simply get someone who does exactly what you do for the same pay or even lesser, and you are not of value.
Yeah.
But what if I want the money, first and foremost, and I'm being honest about it, like, Why Trove?
The money
because
is...
you people pay well. Wait now. Because I hear that you people pay really well. And I want to get paid really well. When I'm in the company, right, I then go out of my way because I enjoy the company.
So, but it's a case of first impression, right? Okay. So I know you want the money. It's fine. We pay well. You heard that XYZ pays well, or we like to take care of our people. But you don't want me to you don't want me to think. Like, I'm meeting you for the first time to think that that's the reason why you decide to apply for that position.
Humans, you prefer to be lied to.
It's not necessarily a lie, right? A lot of employers know that, word on the street is that we take care of our goals, obviously. And it's actually important for an organization to take care of their employees, right? You may not be able to pay as much as the Fortune 500 or the stars in that space, right? But you want to give a lot of perks of some sort, incentives, right? To keep them. That's very important. So you don't. So something like maybe an HMO type program that they can take advantage of, right? Or a lot of startups do this sometimes to equity employee pool for equity. So we can't pay you the 1 million naira salary or the $3,000 salary. You get stop smiling. This is employee pool that you don't take advantage of. You get as per being an early employee, right? Okay, we provide accommodation, we provide gadgets, things that will make life easier for you. We have this nice environment. Why are you smiling? We have this nice environment. We have this.
Right.
Okay, so we have this nice environment, right? We have this nice relationship with the employees. We take what we do. You want to create that atmosphere that would attract people.
Okay, so we've discussed about the beautiful things about starting a company, how to iterate, how to grow, spotting the potential, going for it, and making sure you start with something, right? My own question would be, what are the challenges, right? There's nothing in this world, life that is devoid of challenges. So far so good.
Okay.
I would ask, there are two questions. What are the challenges? But I think you should answer what has been the most challenging challenge. Do you understand? Like the challenge that you sweated, you felt like, Christ, how do we get out of this? Can you remember any?
I can't remember any.
That means you've had it good. Have you gotten to a point where you are maybe running out of funds?
I think we expect, we are used to the challenge and we expect these things to happen. So there's a friend of ours. There's something he used to say, like, as an entrepreneur, your job is to solve problems, right? And what you're pretty much doing 24/7 is hacking solutions, especially when you're trying to be the first in the space, so you're trying to do things really differently, right? What you're doing is pretty much experimental, right? So no one is taking this approach to execution, right? So you're experimenting, you're playing with it, you're trying out, so you're hacking solutions, pretty much. And some of those hacks come with their own challenges, right? So we've gotten used to the fact that we face that every day. And I think our problem-solving skills have been really, really sharpened. So how do we go about this? How do we do this?
No, but still. I know.
So they've been a couple of times, using your example, they've been a couple of times where it was a case of, if we don't raise money now, we are closing up shop.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Can you
think.
remember any scenario?
Yeah, around our first fundraising, it was very, very critical. We needed to pay, we needed some, to get some things up and running before we could actually, go live. And those things required huge capital, right? We had, we had gotten a prototype working. We had, talked to different gotten users, beta testers and all, but now we need to go into production, like release the product itself to the public. We launched as a public beta. I don't want to go into details of what exactly was what and everything.
No, I appreciate if you went into details. I'm sure.
Nah.
Okay.
There might
Maybe
be,
next time.
there might be some NDA somewhere, so I don't want to say too much. But basically, I can't just limit it to Trove. I think I should try to expand beyond, like try my, I've been doing startup
career
for almost a decade now. Work on different startups and all. Yeah, so there are different challenges. Yeah, a lot of them. Let me think. So you have the technology challenge, you have the market itself, maybe not ready for what you're offering. You can be ahead of yourself sometimes. And that's
ahead of yourself or ahead of the
ahead
market?
of the market, sorry.
Okay.
Ahead of the market. Sometimes.
In what case? In what case has this happened?
Okay, let me use.
Can you give us a company in one startup that you did?
I
think I know some because I was there.
I'm trying to remember.
But I want to know what your
so there was this
perspective
company
is.
that Sib Shagai has started. I can't remember the name of the company. I think it was supposed to be similar to Iroko, what Iroko is today. And then internet was still very expensive.
Oh.
Right? People couldn't afford.
Even Jason Njoku explained how when they first started it was so hectic.
Yeah.
But now internet penetration in Nigeria
is better than what it used to be.
Yeah.
Right? So there, the market is really not ready, but the product is awesome. Right? That could really, really be a challenge because you spend a lot of money moving in markets, bringing the market up to speed to what you have or what you are trying to do, and if the market does not get there before you burn out.
So you either wait it out or you bring the market up to speed.
Yeah, and that's very, very important for anything you are trying to do or venture into. If you are looking to, start up something, right? The market is very important. Like I said, they determine your products. Sometimes you might need to scale down what you are offering, right? While you still know what you are working towards. So the market cannot accommodate this at the moment. Let's start with this, and then we grow with the market.
Okay.
That's another strategy that you can employ. So those are challenges that one can face, right? But
you've not told us any story, any particular story that is dear to you. I want you to tell something that you actually lived through.
Something I lived through.
Yeah. Because what you are saying is somewhat abstract.
Okay, so let me say this. I'm thinking of the drop body story, but I don't know what to pick because there are like a lot of challenges. Plenty. So basically, I think what happened there was we had this very nice infrastructure. I know some of our competitors even came to our platforms to borrow a couple of things.
Company.
We are not calling names.
They are yellow in color.
So we had this very nice technology, right? I think we're lacking to an extent in mentorship, right? We had products that could have been used in ways that we're not even looking at, right? So basically, Drop Bodies was a logistic company,
On-demand,
on-demand logistic company, and
outsourced logistics.
we didn't really have it. We tried getting bikes on our own. We almost got wrecked, right? So there was a challenge with the drivers, right? And I think I think getting quality employees, it's a challenge in itself. Getting talents also, especially if you are kind of like within niche spaces, can be a challenge too, right?
Within league
like
spaces.
niche
Okay, niche market.
can be a challenge too. So for Drop Bodies, we had a very nice product, right? We did go through a couple of iterations. We built from ground up, had these sophisticated distance metrics. We even had this geofencing feature where you don't get it if you're outside this circle. And we had awesome features in the roadmap and down the line, but we didn't have the capital to actually push a lot of these things, right? And we're playing in one of the most difficult sectors, and that's the B2C side.
BTC.
B2C, that's the business consumer, business customers, or basically the retail space.
In a space that requires a whole lot of trust.
Not just trust, but also management, right? You need to manage like so many users, and some of them, when you put value on each one of them, it really does not amount to how much you're spending on that support, right? So what value is a user bringing to the table, right? Calculate that for all the users, get the average, and see whether you're actually spending more than you need to run user acquisition, right? One strategy we could have taken then was to focus on the B2B side and then go down, right? It was easier to manage business relationships. And even then when we started, we were juggling both, but we realized it was actually easier to manage the business side than the retail side. That was something that was a very, 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 very challenging period for us, and even to the point that we had to close up shop.
Yeah.
Right? It was very emotional for me too, because a lot of blood and sweat had gone into it. As a founder, you're not paying or you're trying to pay yourself minimum wage, right? We focus on building these things, but sometimes you have to know when to say, okay, this isn't it, right?
You're not working.
Yeah, but you also have to be careful not to do that too early. Right, so
Do you think if Drop Bodies had kept running, you probably wouldn't have started Trove? I think.
maybe, yeah, probably. I'm not really thought about it like that.
No, I think about it actually. Like if that didn't happen,
So
focus has shifted.
No.
So I guess
I don't think so.
These guys.
I don't think so. Or maybe because during that period, there were a lot of things that were actually happening, right? So when we're trying to see the direction Drop Bodies could move into or go, morph into, I and a couple of friends were also looking at or exploring other product or solutions.
Who are these couple of friends?
I know you know one of them. Told me he happens to be CEO. There's Femi, but let's just say people outside of our circle, because I can't mention names definitely.
Why not? You can.
It's. I mean, except I say full name and then you go Google them before you know who they are. So we have like one person and a couple of people that were trying to do agency banking. So that's somewhere that we're looking at.
So you tried to do agency banking?
I was part of a team of guys that are trying to go into that. And then there was a friend of mine too. This actually dragged me all the way to Rantoli Village. He was looking for agri-tech, or we're trying to build agri-tech, and that I was part of. I thought it was interesting. Pretty much what you have as a farm crowding now.
Oh. Well, Frank Crowdy guy reached out to you.
Oh no. Like
Oh, something
when
similar
similar
to
to
Frank
that.
Crowdy.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was already in that spot. His family was in that space, and we're thinking of, we had like this.
Sort of like democratizing farming, so to
Yeah.
speak.
So we met through like, this programming community type stuff, and we started talking about stuff we could do, and he was trying to innovate around what his family does currently. So there are pretty much those things that we're exploring and all. But I say for me, I think two things that really, really got my attention when it comes to time and resources was things around fintech. There was Trove, and there was something else that was supposed to be in the remittance space. So a mentor, we spoke some weeks ago, and she was like, okay, if you're not doing Trove, what would you be doing right now? I was like, I'll be doing something around remittance.
What's remittance? In what sense?
Remittance,
like collecting money.
Sending money, cross-border, sending money out of the country, bring money into the country, and all. And I spent a lot of time investing in at least research into that space at that time. Right, I spent some resources there, and it felt like that was going to be the next thing that I would do. Well, as it happened, Trove or became the next thing I was fully invested in.
Looks like it's working out.
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting experience. The challenges are really, really interesting. I won't say I love it, but sometimes I don't. sometimes I just want to sleep. I just want to lie down and like, okay, do you know what? I'm taking a month's leave. I'm not doing it. I just want to sleep. I'll wake up tomorrow. But, we don't always get to enjoy that. But sometimes the rewards can be. I mean, I remember one time I went on Telegram, right? And we have a user community there. And this guy was talking to her like, oh, thank you, Trove, that for every month, for the last 3 months, I'm making up to 11% of my income, that I'm really not even working like that. I'm sitting here full time, and I'm like, wow.
You've created a space.
Yeah, like, I don't know. that feeling is written.
You like, okay.
So, things like that, would wake you up in the morning and like, okay, do you know what? Yes, what are we doing today?
So
right?
it inspires you, the stories.
The stories, the feedbacks, right? It's rewarding in itself. Like it's.
I was thinking about Trove, and it dawned on me that you have just created an industry. Like you have revolutionized the way. Maybe you don't see it. It occurred to me yesterday. Okay, I'm probably going to bring this up while we're having this conversation. That you've revolutionized how people make money in Nigeria, and you've democratized it. Like now, the common man can, if they know what they are doing, make significant wealth, make outstanding wealth from creating stock. And that's something to be very proud of.
Yeah.
You've changed the space.
I think in the beginning of this, I said sometimes it's easy to be too involved in this that you don't even see it.
I am a living testimony.
I know you are. You share that testimony.
I share it as many times as I can.
Yeah, and it's a very, very encouraging one. There was a time I was having a conversation with someone, and I was like, so the person was like, okay, you're selling all these things, like you that are saying you can do this, you can do that. Are you benefiting from it? And I was like, oh, but I made like 10x of my last year, right? And I bought this, I bought that. I bought Tesla.
Elon. God of Elon.
Right. I actually got Tesla when it was around, before the stock split, $200-ish.
Yeah.
Right. So like, yeah, that was even before she became really, really popular and everything. And so I really, really enjoyed that ride. And I benefited from that. I'm like, okay, yeah. A lot of people a lot of people can actually, and a lot of people are benefiting from this. And, sometimes we have to come out and see these things from outside, like, okay, what exactly have I built? Right?
Now we have built a system. Nice. I was able to get in on Palantir the moment they IPO'd. I kept shouting about it. Like
Palantir did like 3x.
Yeah,
that's 300% in
I think I put like $2,000 in Palantir, 2005, and I was able to make like $6,000 or $8,000 in Palantir. And I was in like a summary of my finances, right, of how much I've spent on stocks, and I realized that I've like at least 2x my Tesla throughout 2020. So it's like it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And perhaps you need to maybe market it that way, to
so
let people know what can happen.
You have to be very, very careful when it comes to
stocks,
dispensing information, right? So going back to some of the advantages that people have, or the experience that people have gotten from Trove, I know someone that actually quit his job and decided to sit down full-time stock market.
Yeah, it's actually a job. Like people in Wall Street, that's their full-time job.
So right, nice, but he's still paying his bills. Like he even started a couple of courses that he could not pay for when he was working in the bank, and now he is able to actually sponsor it himself while still sitting at home. And, so those are things that you wake up in the morning and just okay, yes, and smile. Because the challenges can be overwhelming sometimes. Considering some of the factors, the wind can blow tomorrow, and then the flag will just turn this way, and you're like, yeah, what's happening? And you have to,
be nimble
enough to this thing. But when it comes to information, also you also have to let people understand the risk involved in this, right? It's not a Ponzi scheme. It's not. It's not free money, and it's not magic, right? There's a lot of education that needs to go into this, right? You have to be careful when making investments. The same way it can go up, it can go down. You have to be able to also check your emotions too, right? So you don't make risky moves. I think there was this meme I was looking at some days ago where someone like looking at Dogecoin or one crypto, I was going up, I was like, no, I'm not entering, it was going up. No, I'm not entering, it was going up. No, I'm not entering, and I was like, okay, I'm entering. Entered, and then just
pain. That's what you call pain.
Yeah, so
that has happened to me a couple of times.
I think it's part of the learning experience because it has happened to me too. But I've learned to check my emotions. Sometimes you just have to like, okay, do you know what?
Okay, what advice would you have for entrepreneurs that are starting out? Not just okay. So that's the one question. I had like two questions. That's the first one, and the second one is what advice would you have for people who are in the university? Because you started your startup career in the university.
Yeah, I did.
So you don't have to wait till you're out of school. So what advice would you have for the normal guy who's going to classes, has grand ideas, doesn't know how to execute, or maybe doesn't even have any idea but has a pain point? What advice would you have? So you can answer them separately.
Okay, so the first question is,
what ideas do you have for startups?
Advice do I have for startups?
Then the second one is
students.
Students, normal people. That.
Okay, for startups,
I'm still a startup too.
Yeah,
so.
like, be ambitious. Don't be afraid to think big, right? Set very challenging goals.
Really?
Set challenging goals because, I mean, if it's easy, everyone will be doing it, right? It's not easy. I will not deceive anyone, and I don't think everyone is born to be an entrepreneur. I know how everyone is encouraging everyone to go into that space now, and sometimes it seems interesting to be your own boss, in quotes, right? But I don't think it's for everyone, right? Sometimes it's okay, going for a job interview and just getting a job, right? it's fine, right? But if you are going to build a startup, understand that it's going to be difficult, but also know that that is what you are going in to do. Like if it was easy, someone else would be doing it, right? So be ready to face the challenge. Be ready to be nimble about it. Be realistic about your decisions, and do not be afraid to be audacious.
To be
Audacious.
audacious. Okay.
Right.
So for the young individuals.
So for the young individuals, whatever, just start.
Just start.
I mean, I'll probably, I'm not going to say just do it. Okay, just say just do it technically, but just start, right? You have the advantage of being young and being in school, right? Also, that environment. I was fortunate enough to take advantage of the university environment, right? And a lot of people don't really understand it, right? But there's a lot of opportunities there. For example, if you look at a couple of companies, to some of these people, Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, some of these guys started when they were in school, right? They were able to pilot in school, right? There are a lot of interesting things you see today, especially around a lot of blogs and policy platforms. They didn't just start up as blogs and policies. Some of these people were actually on campus and were doing these things within their peers, right? So I have like this WhatsApp group where you just have random chats. So I have this website where I just talk about Unilag events or university events.
I remember
right?
when I did.
And then
Unilag News. That's what I called it then. That was my first startup.
Yeah. I remember that one. And then you leave and then you realize that it can't just be Unilag alone.
Oh.
And then it scales beyond that. So now we just said we are Unilag.
Yeah, they can know we are from Unilag. We rep our university anytime, any day.
So that's something that every student should take advantage of, right?
So you connect with people.
You have that community, right? That it's easy to reach, right? And it's very, very inexpensive to reach. So you can use that as a pilot.
So you can leverage students. I mean, like that's even like the shortest market you can even play in. Barrier to entry is low. You can easily talk to people.
And sometimes you don't even have to take it from a startup. Take a startup approach to it, right? You just I have this idea, or I just have this or something I want to do. I think there's one of the developers that works with Trove. He built something when he was in university. But just past questions and exam materials, right? And funny enough, it's still running. It's self-sustaining right now, and it's fine. He doesn't even have to pay attention to it every time. He started then, and it was very easy to get up and running. But today, if you want to start off something outside of that community, you have to find a way, some inroad into the school and say, okay, I have materials for you guys, and all of that, and then you start thinking of the marketing strategy, the market penetration strategy, ambassador type, this thing, okay, how do I get two people to believe in it with me so that they can get their friends on board, and all of that. So there it becomes more difficult. But when you're a student, I mean, the average student may not be thinking about things like school fees and the likes and all. So they have the time, they have the environment, they have sometimes the resources to pull off some of these things. I think that's something that University of Lagos really provided, right? Please find a way to get the internet, right?
Yeah, CITS.
And the light was not that bad.
So you can actually walk long hours.
Walk long hours and all of that.
Okay, so one question that I have, what do you look at when you are trying to recruit? I know we've had this discussion in passing. Yeah, when you have engineers, support, what do you typically look at?
Someone that is really interested in what they do, right? So I'm not looking for someone that is getting a job just to get a job, right? I'm looking for someone that is willing to contribute meaningfully.
Could you speak out?
I'm looking for someone that is willing to contribute meaningfully, right? So you're coming to work for me, why are you bringing to the table? Right? I need to know I can get as much value, right? From you as I'm also injecting or giving to you also, and not necessarily money or anything. I personally, I challenge everyone I work with to learn something new, right? I know developers that work with Trove, at least the tech team. Starting out with one stack, today they are they are doing things they didn't think they would have done 1 year ago, right? I think there's a particular one that people say him today, I won't even know that he has less than 2-3 years experience in that space, but it's actually really I'm doing something, and I challenge the team that way. So I want someone that is open to that, and you have to really like love what you are doing to say okay. Otherwise, you would go to we'll be entering each other's, we'll be time rappers, tying ourselves every now and then, but entering the same shokoto every now and then. But the point I'm driving at is I need to know that you're really interested in what you are doing. I need to know that you take out time to develop yourself outside of your 9 to 5, right? Yeah, and that's very, very important. I need to know that you are willing to contribute meaningfully to the venture. Hence the question why Trove.
Okay. I think that's so. In order to end this, there's this question that I want to start asking people. So this is not an original idea. Some of the podcasts I listen to, particularly Lex Friedman, he always asks this question, and he will ask that what is the meaning of life to you, and what is the meaning of happiness to you? So my question to you is, what is the meaning of life to you, and what do you find happiness, and at what point do you think you'll be happy?
Meaning of life, living, technically. So it's easy to say that we all have like this one singular purpose to our existence and all, and this all a journey to discover it and all. But I think contributing your own quarter in any little way to humanity to move that needle forward for those around you, not just for yourself. It's pretty much the purpose of every individual here, right? Whether we do that or not, it's a decision that we have to make ourselves. Happiness is, I think you find, happiness is something that you have to learn to be. You can't be happy. If you tie your happiness to something else, you can't tie your happiness to a thing or an event or something. So that's not something to look forward to. Happiness is something you choose to be. So I want to be happy, right? I can decide to focus on some of the things that I can do that will make me happy, right? Take time off, sleep, wake up, read a book, take myself out, have lunch alone, right? But yeah, state of mind. You have to keep you have to have a very, very, I wish I did this. You have to have a very, very, you have to make that decision, very conscious decision to be happy, right? To keep yourself in that state of mind.
Okay. All right. So, finally, favorite book, favorite movie, favorite game?
This is difficult.
Wow. So the question about happiness wasn't difficult. Favorite book, game. Such a nerd. But go ahead.
I know. I'm a nerd. So, wow. Okay, I did not think favorite game.
Yeah. Favorite game.
Okay, so I'm a complete nerd here. I don't even know which one my favorite game.
You have to pick one. Pick one.
Okay, favorite game, favorite book,
favorite movie.
Favorite movie.
And maybe favorite car.
No favorite. Okay, favorite car. I don't really have a favorite car.
Okay, so book, game, movie.
Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of Happiness. Favorite movie.
Okay. I would put that as one of. It's It's
High on the list.
high on the list.
Mm.
That was a very.
Oh, my favorite movie is Seven Angry Men. Is it 7 or 12 Angry Men?
12 Angry Men.
Oh, that movie is awesome.
I need to see that movie again. I have the 19.
The
black
and white
one
version
and the colored one.
Yeah, it's so good. I always recommend that movie to anybody.
I think a movie I also like is Cloud Atlas.
Cloud Atlas, okay.
Yeah, it's not a popular one, but it's one of those movies that make you think about the decisions you make, but not just the immediate.
I saw that movie. I didn't like it.
Really?
It wasn't action. I was like,
it's not action. Like you look at it and you see different.
I wasn't ready to follow the story.
You see different generations repeating the same mistake.
I wasn't ready to follow.
And then you see the actions of one spanning multiple generations. It allows you to go out and think about some of the things we do today as humans to ourselves, right? So you can say, okay, I decide to be a warlord, or I decide to be corrupt and occupy a political position and embezzle XYZ, or I decide to sponsor some, or go out to commit a crime, right? And you don't really understand the ripple effect of that action, right? So that's one movie that we look at and like, okay. It's very, very thought-provoking. Like, yeah, it brings up like this philosophical side of you that you probably don't have.
Favorite book.
Novel.
Favorite game. Syndicate.
Syndicate is not my favorite game.
Okay. Yeah.
Assassin's Creed series. Maybe.
Which one of them? Second?
I would say the second one is still the best Assassin's Creed game to me. I know a lot of people will argue that Assassin's Creed 3 is, but I prefer 2. That was
Opeyemi.
That's yeah. Actually, the entire series. So that's 2, Brotherhood, Revelation. Probably one of the best assassins. Natalia is actually 1. Ezio is 2. Brotherhood.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole. You need to wrap this up. Okay,
okay, complete nerd.
Okay, so book.
Favorite book. I think right now the one coming. 0 to 1.
0 to 1. I think I've seen that book, but I haven't read it.
Yeah.
I can sort of picture the cover, but I don't.
That's I think every.
Mine is Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki.
Rich Dad Poor Dad and Midas Touch were the things in my head, but I didn't want to mention those ones.
They are like introduction to anything.
Yeah, but
guess what? Robert Kiyosaki filed for bankruptcy a while ago.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, what do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? Hang out with friends, play video games.
What?
Hang out with specific friends.
What? Fine.
Play video games, watch movies, read books, novels, for fun.
All right.
Yeah, so when I'm talking about novels, things like Wheel of Time, or maybe the Lord of the Rings series, like actually read for the Harry Potter. So yeah, so you don't have a complete nerd.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. It was awesome having you on the show, even though we see each other every day. Thank you for being here. And I hope that the little we've discussed is able to inspire more young people to
thanks for having me.
Take up the mantle. So, if you liked this episode, please like and subscribe. Appreciate you. Please share this video with your friends. And see you in the next one. All right. Thanks. Appreciate it.